Charles Barkley, during his NBA career, was no stranger to controversy. Even now, as a media broadcaster guy, he's not a stranger to controversy. He's used to being part of just controversial subjects and just feuds with other people. So, right now, the controversy around Charles is that he wants to join Live Golf for the right price. If the money's right, he stated that he would consider joining them. So that's created a lot of controversy. The reason why this is controversial is because Live Golf is a new golf league that's being sponsored by the Saudis. They have pumped in $2 billion to run this league, so it's a Saudi-led group that runs this league. That's controversial. The reason why it's controversial is because it goes back to 9/11. 15 of the 19 terrorists from 9/11 were originally from Saudi Arabia. So they were originally from Saudi Arabia. There's linkage to that. There's a lot of obviously rage about 9/11. Obviously, a horrible moment in the history of the U.S. Just a horrible, horrible time period for sure. What gets people angry is that they have felt over years that Saudi Arabia knew about these guys being terrorists and that they could have stopped them, but they didn't. They didn't bother to arrest these guys, to alert the U.S. about these guys. They did nothing. And in some regards, people feel this is state-sponsored terrorism by Saudi Arabia. On top of that, Saudi Arabia has never been a good ally of the United States. They are listed as an ally, but they have been always very shady towards the U.S. So there's all that rage towards Saudi Arabia. Charles Barkley said some statements that I guess just was like what they would say about gasoline, coming going on fire. I forget that phrase, but you know what I'm talking about. So it's just it made things even more emotional for people from what I've seen. I'm gonna read his quotes, what he said about Live Golf. So he said, "I told Norman." Norman is, I believe, the guy who runs Live Golf. And he then said, "Listen, they're making up words like blood money and sports washing." I said, "We have all taken blood money and we all have sports washed something, so I don't like those words, to be honest with you. If you are in pro sports, you're taking some type of money from not a great cause." That's actually true. I definitely agree with Charles on this. I'm just going to read more of the quotes he said. And this was a quote referencing how the NBA is hypocritical about this because there's this relationship with China the NBA has. And I'll read into it. He says, "Yeah, I don't want to practice selective outrage." Now, this next quote is basically him talking about Saudi Arabia receiving a check from their government. Here's what he says. "Now, that's semantics. I'm a Nike guy. Also, so I'm not going to do that thing where I pick and choose what I'm outraged about, where my money comes from. I just don't think that is fair. I think that makes you a hypocrite. And let's be fair, all these golf tours have played in Saudi Arabia and China. That was my point." This is him talking about his endorsements, confronting him about possibly joining Live Golf. Here's what he says. "They checked in with me. When I told Subway, Capital One, and Dick's Sporting Goods, I said, wait a minute, I have signed anything. I haven't met with the guy. Let's let's let this thing play out before you all call me all upset. Between the number you just mentioned and all my commercials, for me to risk all of that, it would have to be some serious money thrown my way." That's what I meant to say. Okay, so that's pretty much most of the gist of what he's saying. I haven't read the other things, but Charles is basically saying that he would join Live Golf if the money was right. He would join them. He did call out the NBA, and I think you could say this about all corporations, NBA, Nike, just all major American corporations. There's a lot of hypocrisy here. Do I view Saudi Arabia as an enemy of the United States, even though that they're listed as an ally? Absolutely, they are definitely a shady ally. Just they don't really live up to that word ally when you think about what it means. I view them as an enemy of the United States, a threat to national security, just by the way they manipulate oil prices. I definitely don't respect or like Saudi Arabia. I think they are a piece of shit country. I'm not a fan of them. I'm definitely not a fan of them, but we have to be honest with ourselves. You got to look at the hypocrisy about all these corporations also willingly doing business with China. And we're all linked to these corporations. A lot of us can work for these corporations. The NBA is linked to China. Nike's linked to China. The reason why this is a big deal is China is a national security threat to the United States. They are an enemy of the United States. They're trying to become the number one superpower of the world, which the United States is. They're trying to take the United States' place. So they are a national security threat, but we openly, willingly do business with them. But we don't condemn any corporation or any person doing business with China. So I can see why Charles feels this way. Like he's thinking, why should I be condemned for doing business with Saudi Arabia, who you view as an enemy of the United States, but you guys do business with China all the time and you don't criticize anybody. I definitely get his argument from that. And there is a lot of hypocrisy about that. I can't really call out Charles when I look at it logically from that standpoint. He's definitely right about that. Now, if I was in his situation, would I take this live golf deal? No, no. I would say for a few reasons why I wouldn't do it. I looked up Charles' net worth. It's $50 million. Sure, he can make a lot of money from Live. He definitely could, but would his life change that much with that additional money? I don't think so. I think after you make millions of dollars, your life doesn't really get that much better. It's just small, tiny incremental growth. It's not really much. So I don't think there's not much to gain from him emotionally from gaining all that extra money. I don't know what he would get from it. Maybe he has some gambling issues or gambling debt. I have no clue what's going on with him. Maybe he wants to gamble some more money. Charles is an addictive gambler. That could be the reason. Still, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't take it because I could make $50 million work for the rest of my life, and on top of that, Charles is still increasing his net worth because he's working with Turner. He still gets millions of dollars from endorsements. Hell, Charles could create his own podcast and get millions, like Joe Rogan has his podcast. I'm not saying he's going to do as well as Joe Rogan does, but he can get a shitload of money from that. So there's just so many different options. On top of that, like I personally hate Saudi Arabia. Just I don't like them. So for me, it would be a moral crux. Granted, I understand the part where Charles saying about China. I don't like China either, but I strongly have a disdain for Saudi Arabia and just the Middle East. Just when it comes to the politics of that region and just the history with them in the United States, I couldn't do it. But hey, I understand want Charles wanted to do it if the money was right. I don't agree with it, but hey, I respect his decision. I don't think it's morally right, but I can't argue against it in that regard. The third thing, I would consider. Granted, I don't think Charles gives a shit. Charles has never cared what people have thought about him. That is true, and I haven't either when it comes for the most of it. But still, people are not going to respect you if you join up with Live Golf. It's just going to paint you badly. At the same time, it's just your interactions are going to change with people. I don't know if I would want to entertain that negativity in my life just for that additional money. I also don't think the job would be as fun as Charles' job on the NBA. Just that job seems a lot of fun. Just working 2 times a week, and you get to talk about basketball. You get to joke around with Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq. I wouldn't want to trade that up. That's a great work environment. Just I don't know how much fun Live Golf would be, even for the money that they would give him. I don't know, but I would definitely miss out on that. Just miss out on being part of the league. Just that's just me personally. But if Charles decides to go with Live, I get it. I understand it. From the money perspective, sure. Let me know what you guys think about this.